This is KGW News at 11.
The snow and cold aren't done with us yet. Winter weather really set in today for the region. Just look at this view from the snow out at our camera at Stoller Estates in wine country. The snow has come in waves throughout the day, and how much you got really depends on where you're at. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on this snowy first day of Kwanzaa. I'm Brittany Falkers. We're in a winter storm warning tonight through early tomorrow morning. We have expanded team coverage for you, bringing you the latest on conditions with a look ahead at how it could impact your commute leading into New Year's. Let's start things off, though, with meteorologist Matt Zaffino in our weather center. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brittany. Yeah, it's been a very interesting day, of course, and for many of us, it's been interesting, high interest, but low impact. Many areas in the metro area not seeing a lot of snow. Not the case, though, as we go around the valley. Here's what's happening right now. I'm going to show you Doppler radar. We had a pretty good snow shower come through about an hour ago, dropped about a half an inch of snow in downtown Portland. But what I want to show you is up off the north coast. You can actually see this area of low pressure in the radar right here. Begin to descend right there. You see the circulation about 50 miles to the west-northwest of Astoria right now, and it continues to slide on down to the south. As that happens, colder and colder air will be moving into the Portland area, and the snow showers will actually end overnight tonight. And yes, we had a couple of lightning strikes down by Yachats and Walport earlier this evening, but the really heavy snow has been around the mountains, especially the Coast Range. And I'm so glad we showed that Stoller Vineyard Skycam time lapse, because that's where the snow was the heaviest in the Mid-Valley. Dallas, Oregon had 8 inches of snow. We didn't even get 0.8 of an inch in downtown Portland. So really big differences throughout the metro or throughout western Oregon. Albany had 6.5 inches of snow. Happy Valley, 6 inches of snow there. Otis over the coast. Otis had half a foot of snow. Gresham only an inch. And as I said, I measure about a half an inch right here in downtown Portland from the snow showers that came on through tonight. Temperatures. This is really, I think, the biggest impact over the next 24 to 48 hours for the Portland area is how cold it is going to get. We're at 34 right now, but look to the north. The air is much colder. Seattle's at 21. Bellingham is in single digits. And if we keep going north, we're not going to get this cold, but look at the temperatures up in BC. 20 below at Williams Lake, 33 below at Prince George. Sure, it's interior BC, it gets cold, but hasn't been that cold there for a while. We're not going to get that cold, but that's where our air is coming from. That's the source of this very cold weather pattern that we are going to stay in all week long. So getting much colder overnight. We're going to drop to the low 20s in western Oregon here. Slippery roads, because anything that melted today, and there was some melting, I know the snow in my grass melted away, anything that melts is refrozen already most likely. Then we could get a dusting of snow over the top of that. That can hide the ice. It can make for slippery roads, so be aware of that. And then more snow, because it's going to stay cold all week. We have more snow chances coming, especially towards around Thursday. But the winter storm warning continues until 4 a.m. for western Oregon here. And as we look at the forecast here, 1 to 2 inches overnight. Near the Coast Range and Cascades, though, up to 5 inches of new snow, and snow possible again on Thursday. And if you really love snow, I have to end with Timberline. Boy, it's just been dumping up in the mountains. Wait to see how much they've seen over the last 5 days. More in a bit. Back to you, Britt.
All right. Thanks so much, Matt. And while most of us saw snow today, it was already gone for a lot of us in the Portland metro area before dinner time. And then it came back again later tonight. So now the concern, as Matt mentioned, is on the roads overnight and into your commute tomorrow. KGW meteorologist Joe Ranieri is live for us in southwest Portland. And Joe, driving really gets bad the farther you go from the city.
Well, Brittany, some of us woke up to a light dusting to maybe a couple of inches of snow earlier today. A few spots really south of the metro area really saw a decent amount of snow, and that includes Salem. But some people actually had some issues traveling over into the higher elevations. At one point, Highway 6 and along Highway 26 heading to the Coast Range had to shut down because of the slick roads. Sunday morning brought a really pretty scene around the metro area.
No, we were good. Yeah, we were great. Like just a beautiful dusting after Christmas.
But for some, like Emily Housley, who lives in the West Hills, she didn't get as much as she would have liked.
So we're ready to be snowed in, and we woke up this morning and it was like, oh, it's beautiful, but not enough to build a snowman or a fort like my kids wanted. So
Where it was really coming down was in the Coast Range. That's where people were having issues getting around. Icy conditions forced the closure of a 10-mile stretch of Highway 6 and on Sunday, parts of Highway 26 were closed because of slick roads. Catherine Beninati with ODOT said crews have been working 24 hours a day to clear the roads across the state, and they plan to stay that busy over the next several days.
We're going to be seeing refreezing for days to come, and so we're really urging drivers to take care. The roads are going to be icy.
Beninati says they are attacking the roads with everything they have, including plows, and in real bad spots,
our crews have used salt throughout the metro area and Willamette Valley and other parts of the state.
They're also laying down de-icer, but she says it doesn't always help with temperatures dropping down well below freezing like we're going to see this week.
In extreme temperatures, it's harder to use de-icer. It's not as effective.
With some of the coldest temperatures we've seen since last winter in the forecast over the next couple of days,
this isn't bad because it's almost dry.
Drivers are going to have to be prepared for when the roads are bad. Now, while crews with ODOT will continue to take care of the roads over the next coming days, they also advise drivers to make sure they have chains with them if they're going to be obviously going into the higher elevations over the Coast Range or throughout the Oregon Cascades. But it's also a good idea to have them if you're going to be staying here locally. As you can see, we're starting to see some snow right now. Now let's check in with Galen Etlin, who's talked with some local businesses about how they're dealing with the cold weather as well as trying to keep customers coming in. Galen, good evening to you.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, so even though downtown didn't see a whole lot of snow, we saw kind of this dusting that's flurrying around me just a little bit. The overall conditions across the area sort of had that ripple effect that impacted a lot of people's plans. And here at the Goose Hollow Inn, the team here told me that they did all right with business this weekend because they planned ahead and had good teamwork.
Bridget Carrick loves her job.
I am so grateful to be here at the Goose.
She says camaraderie at the Goose Hollow Inn has made a big difference the last couple years of pandemic challenges. But in freezing temperatures and snow, the outdoor space faces more logistics.
Because last year our tent collapsed.
This latest weather event was easier, but posed a different problem.
Honestly, I think the biggest challenge is for staff to get here.
Some people coming from further harder hit areas struggle. But Bridget's boss knows these employees keep business going.
She's picked people up in snowstorms to make sure they could get here.
About a mile away in Old Town, visitors absorbed frigid tranquility.
The Lansu Chinese Garden was one of the businesses that stayed open in downtown. Despite how cold it was, you can see the snow on the roof, but people really enjoyed having an outlet to go to.
This is a little chilly.
This family is visiting.
I wasn't expecting to be colder than Chicago, so I underpacked.
They had plans in Oregon wine country Sunday, but
it got snowed out.
Yeah, we woke up this morning and we were like, oh, it snowed just a little bit. And apparently like a lot of Portland shut down because of it. So.
Everything is making it very challenging for us.
Venus Sun with the Lansu Chinese Garden says staff check for snow and icy conditions before opening each morning. With the pandemic, homeless crisis, and growing crime in Old Town, crowds on a freezing Sunday are a welcome sight.
How does that feel to get that support after a pretty rough couple of years?
It's amazing. We definitely cannot be here if not for the support coming from the community. Our staff still hold on to this very high spirit, this perseverance.
And even with an added challenge, snow ahead of the new year is a good omen, according to the Chinese idiom, 瑞雪兆丰年.
You're going to have a year of prosperity. So that's what we're holding on to it right now is we could use a great, prosperous year.
A message Bridget Carrick is on board with as her team works through these latest challenges.
Doing our best to just make sure everybody is safe.
Back live in Goose Hollow now. We have been seeing some of those snow flurries that I mentioned earlier. The snow is sticking onto the roads, but nothing too heavy. And the team here at Goose Hollow says that they've been really keeping an eye on those awnings and these tents that I'm standing underneath so they don't collapse like they did earlier with that previous ice storm. So far, so good, though. And overall, they say people have really been showing up to keep business going. Brittany?
And Galen, I really like to hear about that good omen. We need that good news, too. All right, thanks so much. Well, some businesses, schools, and services have already announced that they will be closed tomorrow. Those include all Salem-Keizer Public School meal sites and district offices, Oregon State campus in Corvallis, and several child care providers through schools. And for a list of cancellations and closures, and to find out if there's a late start for other services, just head over to KGW.com. Well, not everyone saw a good amount of snow. Some of you did, and we want to see your pictures. So I want to show you some of mine. This is my Judy, who got to see snow for the very first time. Actually, her second time. She barely saw it last year, but it was all new to her again today. Just had to figure out how slippery things were for the first time. Serena sent in this picture of little Whaler and Willie sledding in the little dusting that they got. And our producer, by the way, loves the highwayman names for the kids. Really great. Deborah sent us this picture of a face in the snow saying that she's having some fun. Looks like it, but looks a little frigid for the face. Still fun though. And Ty sent us this lovely little creature. This is Renly, and apparently he just loved the snow and tigered and hopes for more. And we sure hope you had a good roll in the snow, Renly. A good boy. And it's not too late for you to join in on the conversation. You can text the number that you see right there on your screen, 503-226-5088, or just head over to the KGW Facebook page and look for this post to add them there. And you might see them later on air or tomorrow on Sunrise. In a few days, a new law will take effect here in Oregon, banning discrimination based on someone's hairstyle. Christelle Kumwe tells us why volunteers around the state are working to spread the word about the Crown Act.
The Crown Act stands for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. The bill officially prevents public schools and employers from discriminating against cultural hairstyles like braids, twists, and locks.
I chose to get involved with this because I have two young kids. My son has locks, my daughter has thick natural hair, and I really did not want them to ever have the experience of being excluded in school or down the line excluded from job opportunities for wearing their hair in the styles that they choose.
Ray Donneville is one of the many volunteers who've been working to spread awareness in Black communities about the new law. At a recent canvassing event, volunteers knocked on doors in Northeast Portland. They say many people didn't realize the bill actually passed.
It's also important for employers and schools to realize that this is in effect, so that if there are policies and procedures that people need to put in place to make sure folks in their workplaces and schools are protected, that happens.
Several other states, including California and Washington, have similar laws. Oregon's Crown Act takes effect January 1st, 2022.
You know, there's a lot of areas throughout the state that have smaller Black populations, and there's some education that needs to happen there. But I think that this is a really great first start.
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.